Welcome to the Faith-Based Weight Loss Podcast. My name is Diana Sahakian, and I am a physical therapist, a counselor, and I specialize in faith-based weight loss coaching for women. Our topic today is the why behind what I do, and what's your why? If you've ever wondered why you're doing what you're doing, go ahead and drop why in the comments if you're watching this live in our Facebook community. If you're listening to this recording later on podcast or iTunes or YouTube, wherever you're watching, and you want to be live in the Facebook group, in the best community that is faith-based for women, helping you lose weight and be transformed, then join us at www.facebook.com/groups/faith-based weight loss for women, number 4. We have a wonderful community of wonderful women who are supporting each other, getting information, accountability, and helping you with your weight loss journey and experiencing total transformation, mind, body, and spirit. So we're so glad you're here. I'm super grateful to be here with you ladies, and I want to dive in. I always like to start by celebrating some wins. I want to highlight one of this group members, but also one of my clients, Jen, who messaged me this week to let me know she was packing for her family vacation, and the raincoat that she could not fit into a few months ago was able to zip up and was actually loose. So let's give Jen a shout out, and Jen, keep it up, keep going, and a lot more great things lie ahead for you. I also want to highlight another member of this group who's also working in the faith-based 5-principle method weight loss program. Carol had a 4-week goal of breaking the 200-pound mark, and in 4 weeks of starting in less than 4 weeks, at about 3 weeks, yes, Kathy, exactly, exciting. She got down to 199. She had not seen the scale go below 200. So that was a huge win for Carol. So again, let's congratulate Jen and Carol on their wins. And so exciting. We want to celebrate wins because they're a big deal. And you can have wins like that too. Yes, give me some hearts, thumbs up, etc. So today I want to talk about the why behind what I do. And I want you to think about your why. This podcast, this training is for anyone who needs to refocus and needs encouragement in your journey to keep you going, okay? And so I want you to comment why, in all caps, why, if you want to find out why I do what I do and what has led me here. So I'm going to tell you, but go ahead and drop a why in the comments to find out why I do what I do and what's kind of led me here. So many of you are new to our community, and maybe you don't know the backside of my story. I know when we launched this group a few months ago, I told a little bit about my story. And so today I'm just going to lean in a little bit closer and tell you the why. So I want to make sure you stick around because this is so important. Yes, I see Kathy's why. And Carol's why, yes, I love it. The why I do. Yes, Debbie, I love it, guys. Thank you. Nancy, yes. All right, guys, you have me convinced. I'm going to tell you my why I do what I do, and hopefully you will be compelled to think of your why. You don't want to keep doing things without purpose and focus. So today, by listening to my why and then reflecting on your why, you'll hopefully find a reset on your journey and a repurposing to stay on track. So I'm going to start by talking about the what that has led me here. And so, you know, I struggled with weight as a very young girl. And so I grew up in Beirut, Lebanon, and I came from a family of, you know, accomplished doctors, et cetera, which was very common for the culture. Not common, but that was what family I was born in, right? And my weight struggle was a bit of a problem for my family because I was a very unattractive young woman. And I don't say that so people give me any kind of attention except to tell you fact. And in fact, if you scroll in my pictures in my personal Facebook page, you can see I recently posted a picture that was very, drew the contrast, but I struggled with weight, and not only weight, I had a lot of problems with my appearance that were just not very pretty. And but I accepted the Lord in my heart as a Christian, at a young girl, and my faith was really on fire even as a young child. And in 1987, when I was just about to turn 13, my family immigrated to the United States from Beirut, Lebanon. So I'm actually born in Beirut, Lebanon, and moved to the United States. And I was a freshman in high school at that time. And I loved life, and I was a very happy-go-lucky person, but I physically had a lot of struggles, and my cycles, periods were irregular. My weight was out of control. I had a lot of facial hair growth, and my features were just very rough. I was a big girl, and I did not look well. And so I mentioned my father was a doctor, not only a doctor, he was a plastic surgeon. So his job was to help make women beautiful. And his own daughter really was not so much fitting in line with that. And I was a bit of a problem for them because nobody could figure out what was wrong with me. And so a little bit of fast forwarding, I ended up spending one summer during, I think, college or high school in the Middle East. And it was my dad's friend, who was also a physician, who suggested I get tested for polycystic ovarian syndrome. And it was a really big turning point in my life because the test came back positive, and I was diagnosed with PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, which explained a lot of the features of how I looked. And when I came back to the US, my parents followed up on these. Sometimes you can be in a family of physicians, but these things can get missed. That was my story. And I started to see the doctors, and they put me on some, mild medications, et cetera. But that was supposed to help me. Well, I ended up in college, and what really was a big turning point for me is I started exercising, particularly running. I'm not advocating for running, but for me at that time, that's what I did. And that became the one form of exercise that really helped me lose weight. So I became a very faithful runner through college. And to this day I run, but I run less than I used to because I do other forms of exercise. But my weight came down, but the story didn't end there, right? And so, yes, I had like this big 180 revolution, whatever you want to call it, change. And my appearance changed drastically. And for the first time in my life, I went from being very unattractive, very masculine, very just struggling, as I mentioned, with the facial hair, with the weight, to really a big turnaround. And I remember, and I shared this on the prior video, the first one I did on this group, that my mom said to me, no matter what changes on the outside, God looks on the inside. And through that whole journey up to that point, I wanted to honor the Lord. I didn't want to be focused on the outside, but I wanted to feel better because I never felt well. So that was kind of the background to the weight, and I'm going to pick up on that a little bit later. And if you can relate to any of my story, please drop comments in the live. I then I went to college, and I was supposed to be a doctor. Well, then I decided my junior year in college, although I was a very good student, that I did not want to pursue medical school, which is a story in and of itself. And I ended up deciding for sure I did not want to go to medical school. And so in that time, my family, my father, who again, culturally, if you had the ability and the means to do this, that's what I should have done. But I did not decide to do that. And it was a pretty big, disagreement between my parents. But remember, I was wanting to honor the Lord. I never wanted to be like willful or rebellious. So I ended up staying at the college I was at for my undergrad to do Christian counseling as a master's. And so I always wanted to help people. Part of why I didn't want to pursue medicine is I wanted to have a connection with people. I wanted to be able to get to know them and help them and, help people transform, which big story. You can see God's kind of brought a lot of things back together for me, the why behind what I do. And so I stayed and I did master's in counseling degree, and really was an important time of my life. Well, it was during that time where my mother kept encouraging me to do something more professional. And so I ended up doing, she encouraged me to consider physical therapy. And I was like, what, physical therapy? This is crazy. This is not for me. And acted very offended. Well, mothers, remember, kids, listen. I tucked it in the back of my mind, and I decided to pursue physical therapy. So I applied for physical therapy school, and I got into Northwestern, the only school I applied to, which was all just kind of how God leads, is why I tell you these things. I never thought I would even consider this field. And in the process of applying for physical therapy school, you had to do some hours of training. And I ended up doing them with a friend who worked with patients who had a lot of chronic pain and struggled with weight. And so that kind of, that led me to really be intrigued in like that area where I could use my counseling and learn about people who are suffering with weight and pain and help them. And so I went to PT school, and ironically, I had started to develop a lot of chronic pain. My weight struggles were still there, even though I had them somewhat under control. They were far from under control. I see that now. I would go to extreme diets to try to keep my weight down. I wanted to be healthy, but I was like a tornado spinning out of control. I had chronic shoulder pain. I had chronic low back pain. And as a young PT, it was really hard. So I finished PT school and I started working as a physical therapist. And I was I was struggling. I would come home from seeing a full day of patients, and I would lay on the couch. I was in so much pain. My body just was always fighting against me. And I was young, and I was a very happy person, my temperament, my personality, but I was like, okay, Lord, this can't be how it is. Like, I was married, etc. When I got married and started thinking of having kids, my weight struggles just went out of control. So all that to say, much of my life was spent in pain and in struggle. But the training God allowed me to get in counseling and in physical therapy really connected to then take my education and my personal experience to lead me to where I am today. And so I really began specializing in helping people who struggled with a lot of chronic pain. And I became really good at helping people with chronic pain, and started to be able to apply that to myself. So for the early part of my career, I was able to overcome my pain problems. But then my weight struggles kept getting worse as I was having kids and as life, as middle-aged women. And maybe if you can resonate here, you can put, relate in the comments. I was working, I had kids, I was a mom, I was a wife. Life was so stressful, and I just couldn't get it all together. And so my weight was, off. Everything was just really difficult. And so fast forward, I have 3 kids. I have 2 older kids, and then I have a 10-year gap and a third kid. I have 3 sons. And after having our third son, my body really started fighting with me. And it was after that that I said, okay, Lord, I need to get this together. Like, I'm an adult now. I need to pull it together. Help me. And I knew I had enough education and training to improve my weight. So like I said, my pain struggles had significantly improved as a physical therapist, but my weight was just out of control. And it was then that the Lord started leading me to what I do now, even more specifically, even though you can see the story started from when I was a little girl. And so after my father passed away in 2015, I decided this is it. It's time for me to change and to overcome this. And I'd never wanted to go on another diet. And so it is out of that what I do now got birthed. I was able to create and develop the 5 principle method, which is what I use now as I work with clients to help them transform in mind, body, and spirit. And a big part of that involves getting your weight under control. And it was the best combo of using my counseling, my physical therapy, my love for the Lord to be able to love and serve other women. And so that is kind of the what. And if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments if you'd like to learn a little more. But that is kind of the what that has led me to where I am. And, now I want to touch on the why that keeps me going. Like I said, I always wanted to honor the Lord with my life. I wanted to be able to serve people, and I love business, right? So I was a physical therapist. I owned my own practice, and I loved that. I chose to do that because I wanted to be able to share the gospel with people and apply my faith in my work. But one of the verses that I love is whatever you do, do as unto the Lord. And that verse was, meaningful to do. And whatever your hands find to do, do it with all your might. And so everything I do, I want to do it as unto the Lord. I want to help. What keeps me going now and why it keeps me going, I have seen so many women transform. And the weight loss, guys, is just a piece. The 5 Principle Method program is way more than weight loss. It's going to help you get healthier, stay healthier, live healthier, be healthier. As Christians, it is so hard to live out our calling when we are so overcome by weight and pain struggles. And if that's you, and it can also just be that sense of, I can never keep up, I'm so busy, life is so hard. When we're stuck there, we cannot fulfill our calling. And so for me, the why is clear. God gave me a story, right? He gave me the opportunity to study and to learn. And then he gave me the challenges in my own body that I was able to then overcome. So now I am helping others do the same. And I never lose the excitement to get a message or a post that says, like I shared at the beginning, I couldn't zip my raincoat and now I can. I broke the 200-pound mark and I never could before. I was off track, now I'm on track. I am being transformed. And that's why I do what I do, ladies. It is so important that you figure out your what and your why. What's your story? What is your calling? What has God put you on this earth for? And so you've got to figure it out. You got to live with focus. You got to have purpose, because life will be hard. The challenges will come, and it's so easy to just let them push you over. But when you have a why and a what that is given by God and that's keeping you going, you will stay the course. Okay. And so I think of Philippians 1:6 that says, he who started a good work in you will be faithful to complete it. And so that is where I want to direct you today, to really ask yourself, what is your why? What is your how? What and why are you doing what you're doing? I just think it's so important. And so, and look at the comments here. Heidi said she will rewatch. Kathy, thank you for sharing. You are so welcome. I hope it helps you understand. I know it's kind of different doing the group and coming on and like getting to know you guys, but this is what I do now. I'm a weight loss coach, a faith-based weight loss coach. I work with women, and I have, by God's grace, been able to build this program that really works. And I am devoted to it. And it has transformed me. I have never felt better. I'm so grateful to the Lord's guidance in doing it. Oh, thank you, Gina. I love that. In all caps, Gina, I'm so grateful for that, you guys. I love the all caps. And so you got to find your story. You got to be able to overcome the challenges and see them as opportunities. This is one of the things we talk about a lot in the faith-based 5 Principle Method program. Problems are opportunities that move us to our purpose. Okay. And so what is the problem in your life? Because likely God is going to use it, if you let him, to turn it into the greatest gift in your life. And my weight struggle and my pain struggles that were and continue, by the way, to be a part of my life are what God continues to use to make me depend on him, to make me grow closer to him, and to help me develop the program further so that I can continue to help women in this process. And so for today, do you know your why? Do you know why you're doing what you're doing? Do you have a what? And if not, it's never too late. You just got to figure it out. So my final words are: redeem the time, be a good steward, and learn to love the life God called you to and live it well so that you can get to the finish line with no regrets. That is like my line that I love, and you hear me say it a lot. Learn to love the life God called you to, live it well, live it for Him, and work on getting to the finish line with no regrets. Um, Nancy, thank you. Yes, I will. Yes, problems become opportunities. Exactly. And so as I close today, if you need help with losing weight, reach out to me. That's what I do. I want to help you. I've got this group with lots of free stuff that can be a great tool, but if you want more, then I can do more. But this is where I feel I am fulfilling what God has for me. And I love it. So it is my honor to be able to serve you, ladies. And I hope if you are watching and you're not part of our Facebook community, that you will hop on over and look for us and be a part of it, because it is the best community. And again, if you need help losing weight, then reach out to me or put help in the comments and I will reach out to you. And again, make sure you know your what and your why, because that's going to be really important to keep you going through all of life's trials, through your pain, through your weight struggles, and through the seasons of life that are super overwhelming. Thank you for joining me on the podcast today, and I look forward to being with you again next week. Take care and have a great day.